This is the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB, bringing you news, cultural, and educational programs. This is BCB, the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra.
This is BCB, the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, the voice of the voiceless, that voice that has been crying in the wilderness asking for freedom, calling on you, O God. Our people will greet you all. Let us uphold all that we all envisage. Let today bring us good fortunes and remove all hindrances. Let it be good for all. May we not see our ears with our own naked eyes. The sun have risen, open the doors of opportunities. Lift us all up to see your greatness, to see your glory, to see your great light. Elevate us to that pinnacle. We in the struggle are asking that you should empower our leaders. Give them wisdom. Remove all those that have vowed that the sun will set before they have risen. Light never shines in the darkness. Remove the evil from the land of the rising sun. We call on you, O God of our land. We thank you for giving us the space to see the light of today. We glorify your holy name, great God of our ancestors, the great God of hosts, one that fights for all that has been downtrodden, one that created all. We glorify you. We call upon you today to bring wisdom, to open the eyes of the blind, to cultivate discipline. We hand our media into your able hands, the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra. Open the doors of understanding. Open the mind of all that will listen. Broaden our horizon. We humbly ask for justice, that all must not turn blind eye to injustice, because injustice anywhere is a threat to all. Crown our effort with all glory. In you, we have a great trust. He say,
And here is a special announcement from the leadership of Biafra government in exile. This is BCB.
My fellow Biafrans, let us take a step back for a moment and reflect on why we are agitating for a free, independent state of Biafra, and the methodology through which we want to achieve this goal. In the first place, as I have said many times, this agitation is not a crime, and it's not illegal for a people to desire to be free and to seek to be a separate sovereign nation, away from where they found themselves for no fault of theirs. On the contrary, it is a good thing and a noble cause, and for us, it is a holy duty too. I believe that we have come to a point where we must now pause, take a little moment, and think about how we want to go about achieving this goal. In the last 22 years or so, we have seen movements for the actualization of the independent state of Biafra emerge and really gather pace. Most recently, IPOB under Mazen Nnamdi Kanu took the agitation to a greater height through Radio Biafra London. Before then, there was Voice of Biafra International, which shook the airwaves at the turn of the century and frightened the life out of the government of Obasanjo. And from Biafra Foundation, which transformed into Biafra Government in Exile, made considerable impression on the United States State Department, reached out to those countries that recognized Biafra in the First Republic, including Zambia, Namibia, Ivory Coast, Haiti, and Gabon. BGIE continues to reach out diplomatically to nation states, including the United Kingdom, Scotland, Israel, France, Germany, and many others. Thus far, The restoration effort has been somewhat predictable, sometimes amateur in application, and lacking deep analytics and critical thinking that enables projects to succeed in this 21st century. Hence, the need to have a rethink. The role of education and empowerment of our grassroots and civil society can no longer be ignored. Events have become very fluid and change at the speed of light. How do we therefore adapt to survive? Our homeland is bleeding. Our youth are jobless and turning to drug addiction and various associated criminal activities. Dangerous weapons and firearms have gone into the wrong hands, either in the name of unknown gunmen, Ebubago, or ESN. The land is soaked with the blood of the innocent. Our youth, our fathers, our mothers, our children, our brothers and sisters, many inadvertently caught up in this quagmire we find ourselves. To make matters worse, our current political leaders are totally clueless, selfish, incompetent, spectacularly corrupt, and desperately useless. They have long become the problem, rather than the solution to the problems. Therefore, it has become imperative that we look inwards. Every right-thinking, decent, passionate, sincere Biafran, from Igbo nation, Ijaw nation, Efik and Idoma nations, and many other indigenous nations in the southeast region, must now wake up, step up, and help redeem our people from the certain calamity that faces us. The fight for self-determination must now be assessed from political, economic, intellectual, and social dimensions. A holistic approach that will put us in a position of strength in our ancestral territorial enclave. A multidimensional approach which will require the expertise of all our peoples at home and in the diaspora. In the coming weeks and months, BGIE is in collaboration with various other groups at home and overseas, will keep you informed of the direction of travel through this radio broadcast. So be sure that you tune in all the time to Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB. If you are a young person or middle-aged person in Igbo land or anywhere else in the southeast, think about what you are doing now. Do you have a gun or a machete or any other weapon? Who gave them to you and for what purpose? Are you ready to kill your own brother or your own sister? For what reason would you do that? I am speaking to you directly today as one of you. Put down the guns and the knives and the weapons. Turn away from violence. There is a better way, and that way will bring a better life for us all. I feel your pain. I see your frustration. Years of failed government promises. You see your leaders stealing public funds, money that belongs to you, for your education, money meant for your health and well-being, for good roads, for electricity, for jobs, for water, for security, for recreation, and for food. You see these greedy individuals take them away from you and leave you hungry and frustrated. The future looks dark and bleak and cold, and no way forward. We are in a bad place right now, but we must be determined to turn it around. I urge you to rise up now. Gather every energy left in you and let us fight in the right way. With our hearts and minds, our brains and intellect, our spirit and our passion, with determination to free ourselves from the bondage of these political prostitutes and brigands, from jihadists and terrorists who want to harm us and take over our land. Let us motivate ourselves and possibly raise the passion and energy levels through the works of our heroes and role models past, not in the battlefield only, but in economic development, in wealth creation, in good governance, and improving general well-being of our people. The point is, if our forebears can do it in the eastern region under Dr. Michael Okpala, we can do it now too. Over 6 million of us live and reside in diaspora, in developed countries. We must wake up now and repeat the successes of the 60s by our fathers. We should be confident that there is more than enough in us and in our land to convince us that we are better a free, independent nation than remaining in an abject servitude, slavery, and subjugation under Nigeria, potentially leaving our future generations vulnerable to another genocide, to Islamization and perpetual bondage. Believe it or not, between 1954 and 1964, Eastern Nigeria, Biafra land, was described as the fastest growing economy in the world by the Harvard Law Review, faster than China, Singapore, and all the Asian tiger countries. So in this fight, we will have vision, a clear vision, a plan. We will consult. We will put together teams and work together. We will use education to develop the skills that we need and to create the awareness that is required. We will implement judiciously and conscientiously this plan and this vision, and we will seek to acquire significant power and control of our territory. This way, we give ourselves a chance to succeed in liberating ourselves and our land, and realizing that dream of being that nation set on a hill which cannot be hidden. Finally, to every youth in Biafra land, I urge you today to please turn away from violence. Your life matters. Your life is precious. We cannot afford to continue to lose precious lives, young lives of Biafra descent. Let peace return. Be patient a little longer, and you will see a new dawn. A new day will dawn with your dreams fulfilled. The decent and comfortable, secure future you desperately crave for and deserve will become reality in our lifetime. This is our hope. This is our dream. And this is why we seek freedom and self-determination. God bless you all. And may God bless our nation, Biafra.
This is the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB, bringing you news updates, cultural programs, and commentary on issues pertaining to Biafrans at home and in the diaspora. This is BCB, the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra. Join us.
This is a re-record of the Voice of Biafra international broadcast of January 30th, 2009. The title of the broadcast is The Heart and Soul of Biafra. My fellow Biafrans, after suffering terrible persecution and torture for more than 40 years at the hands of Satan, Nigeria, what do you expect from Biafra and her leaders? In fact, what will be the heart and soul of Biafra? The heart and soul of Biafra will be freedom and liberty for all, economic and social justice for all, dignity and respect of your human rights, honest, truthful, and effective leadership that is not corrupt, and a society where your creativity, entrepreneurial abilities, high intelligence, hard work, all will find expression in gainful employment for everybody, control over your natural resources and private property, prosperity for all, legitimate pursuit of happiness and leisure, long life for you and your children, and security and safety for all. All these will result in peace and peaceful coexistence in families, among neighbors and communities. A sovereign independent state of Biafra is the heart and soul of every Anang, Efik, Ibibio, Igbo, Ijo, Ogoja, Ogoni, Itsekiri, Isoko, Esan, Orobo, man, woman, and child. Prosperity for all, legitimate pursuit of happiness and leisure, long life for you and your children, and security and safety. Now let us give you an outline of how the Republic of Biafra will function. We will give you the details in subsequent broadcasts, while we advise you to read the Biafra Charter. It is available in the markets and on the internet. The state of Biafra will be built on the principles of self-determination and autonomy. Every ethnic group, every community will exercise the freedom to govern itself, make its own laws, provide for the safety and protection of its own members, determine for itself what priorities it wants to pursue, plan its own educational program, economic development, industrial and technological program, social and cultural development, and the general infrastructure for the welfare and destiny of its people without interference from any outside bodies. The state of Biafra will be built on the principle of social and economic justice for all. Every Biafran will be guaranteed justice regardless of group affiliation, language, domicile, religion, or any other characteristic. Individuals and groups will exercise 100% control over their property and resources, including their lands and the minerals in those lands, farms, rivers, streams, houses, and any other private property. No government shall have the right to forcibly appropriate property and resources belonging to individuals or communities. The state of Biafra will be built on the principle of liberty, freedom from arbitrary and despotic arrests, beatings, detention, extortion and imprisonment by the police, army, and other agents of the government will stop immediately. The people of Biafra will reserve the right and freedom to use every means at their disposal to resist and throw off any arbitrary and despotic imposition by any government or its functionaries, including the right to terminate membership of the Biafran state. The state of Biafra will be built on the principle of full respect for the human rights of individuals and the protection of the civil rights and liberties of all citizens and groups. Freedom of speech, expression, assembly, press, and religion will be guaranteed by the state. Right to life, right to one's language, right to communicate with whomever one chooses, right to protest, right to dissociate, right to vote and be voted for, right to participate in trade or occupation of one's choice, right to fair employment practices, right to declare trade dispute or strike, right to clean and healthy environment, right to legal protection, right to popular participation in legislative process, and the right to live and do business wherever one wants will be guaranteed and protected by the state of Biafra. The state of Biafra will be built on the principle of respect and admiration for labor. The state will guarantee every able-bodied Biafran the right to work. Biafrans are industrious, resourceful, and inventive. The energies, skills, talents that are so abundant in Biafra, but which unfortunately have been stifled, muzzled, and squashed by Nigeria, will be released. These energies and talents and skills will be unleashed to propel Biafra into the Committee of Technological Nations in the shortest possible time. Labor will be respected. Work will be honored. Merit and productivity will be the criteria for rewarding labor. Equal opportunities for employment for all Biafrans shall be the watchword of the Biafra nation. The state of Biafra will be built on the principle of strong moral character. Traditionally, the people of Biafra have been a holy people. They treat human beings and nature around them with respect. Sadly, Nigeria has destroyed the excellent moral character of Biafrans and dragged them down to the level of moral depravity of Nigeria. But Biafrans will rebuild and re-establish their strong moral character. Every Biafran must be his brother's keeper. He or she must be honorable and truthful, must not engage in corrupt practices, giving and taking bribes, stealing government or public money and property, and cheating his or her fellow Biafrans or government. He or she must be patriotic, freedom-loving, and must stand resolutely against any form of injustice, oppression, and victimization. He or she must be progressive and must never slavishly obey any evil laws designed to enslave him or her. The state of Biafra will be built on the principle of honest, trustworthy, and exemplary leadership. A Biafran leader must be honest and trustworthy at all times. He or she must not steal, cheat, and lie to the people. He or she must be a model of sound moral character. He or she derives his power and authority from the people who elected him or her and exercises these for their welfare and at their discretion. The Biafran leader is accountable to the people at all times. He or she is their leader, not their ruler. If he or she tries to turn himself or herself into a corrupt, autocratic dictator, a pharaoh, the people will immediately remove him or her. He or she relinquishes power and authority anytime the people demand that he or she does so. In essence, a leader in Biafra is the servant of the people. The state of Biafra will be built on the principle of the importance and value of the single individual. The single individual is the smallest irreducible unit of the people. The people cannot really exist without this single individual. Therefore, the state of Biafra will make every effort to ensure the survival, protection, welfare, and well-being of this individual. Advances in agriculture to guarantee abundant food supply will be a priority. No people can achieve anything if they cannot feed themselves. The return of thousands of highly qualified Biafran medical personnel and other scientists from Europe and America, and the training of new ones to provide adequate health care for Biafrans will be a priority. A healthy nation will be a productive and prosperous nation. Efficient communication is the cornerstone of all technological development and efficient utilization of manpower. Affordable and efficient communication will be a priority. Since manpower cannot be efficiently utilized and productivity maximized if you cannot move large masses of people quickly, effectively, and efficiently, transportation, including aviation, will be accorded very high priority. The security of life and property is one of the fundamental needs of human beings. Therefore, law and order and the protection of life and property will be accorded high priority. The protection of our environment from erosion and pollution, especially the pollution of farms, rivers, and streams in the oil-producing areas of Biafra, will be a priority. The pursuit, establishment, and maintenance of very high-quality education, the cornerstone of technological development and robust economy, will be a priority. The provision of all necessary infrastructure to promote trade, commerce, industry, and easy access to all parts of the world will be a priority. The provision of opportunities for a good life for all Biafrans will be the ultimate priority. Fellow Biafrans, for too long you have been trapped in the rut, the muck, this stinking putrefaction that is called Nigeria. At times it seemed as if there is no hope or salvation. We now have generations of Biafrans who have never had the good fortune of seeing one honest public servant, civilian or military, of having 3 good meals in a day, of drinking clean water, using decent public transportation, of being in school for 6 months without being chased out by the police, of being interviewed for a job, having a meaningful job and making a living by decent means. Those of you who travel out of Nigeria cannot remember the last time any airline employee treated you with a modicum of respect while you carried Devil Nigeria's green passport. So, nationally, you are treated as a slave, a third-class citizen at best, while internationally you are treated as a criminal, a crook, drug dealer, thief, and con man. The reason is simple. You are Nigerian. It is time for all that to change. Join the movement to reclaim your nation, Biafra. Biafra is your nation. Biafra is your pride. Biafra is your hope. Biafra is your salvation. Biafra is your right. Biafra is your own. Take it now. Since 1990, many unworkable federations like Nigeria have disintegrated, broken apart into their component nation states. All of them have made giant strides in rebuilding their shattered nations and economies. What we need now is determination and perseverance. That's all we need. That is all we need, fellow Biafrans. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, join the movement and fight like a lion for our freedom. May God bless the good people of Biafra and all those fighting for our freedom and independence.
This is the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB.
The Biafran Charter, a new series brought to you by Biafran Government in Exile. I am Mazi Odogu. In this new series of Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB, Biafra Government in Exile will be bringing to you excerpts from this sacred document that unites the people of Biafra in our quest to reclaim our sovereignty. As the struggle to restore our nation state, the Republic of Biafra, started its last phase, Biafra Government in Exile found it necessary to have a charter of understanding among the various related ethnic groups within the Republic of Biafra. Biafra Charter was therefore a document not only prepared by the ethnic groups in question that defined their charter relationships and governance structure in a restored Biafra nation, but it was dutifully signed into life by the leaders of the nationalities. Today, we shall present to you the introductory section of this great document, Biafra Charter. The Charter constituting the government of the nation of Biafra. First, definition of Charter. This document, the Biafra Charter, hereby called the Charter, is the organic and foundational agreement for the establishment of a national structure, governance structure, governing authority, and a basic code of conduct for the functionaries and peoples of Biafra. The Biafra Charter is a formal instrument which at once constitutes first, authority, 2, mandate, 3, contract, 4, memorandum, 5, terms of reference, 6, reference. For the matters which are addressed or referenced by the Charter, and according as such matters are addressed or referenced therein, granted by the nation of Biafra through the collectivity of the representatives of the communities and peoples of Biafra, to the functionaries and for the functions stated in the Charter. Second, purpose of the Charter. The primary purpose of the Charter is to establish an enduring national structure, governance structure, and basic code of conduct for the people and functionaries as directed by the peoples of Biafra, which contribute to and inform a future national constitution. In addition, the Charter mandates the immediate formation of a provisional government of Biafra, BBG, to serve the nation and people of Biafra during the period that Biafra is under the occupation of Nigeria. Organization of the Charter. This document is sectionalized into 1. Biafra Charter Authorization, 2. The Federal Structure of Biafra, 3. The Charter constituting the government of the Federation of Biafra, 4. The Declaration of 9 Basic Laws, 5. Amendments. 1. Biafra Charter Authorization. Whereas the peoples and nation of Biafra and their land and property find themselves under physical, sociological, political, economic, and physiological subjugation by the state of Nigeria since 1967. A state of occupation by Nigeria or Biafra has existed and continues to exist. Unwilling to continue to live under such stifling servitude, while suffering such indignities as are inappropriate for human beings, determined to exercise the natural and legal rights to freedom and liberty. Now, therefore, we, the people of the Federation of Biafra, have resolved to actualize, renew, reaffirm, and continue with the Declaration of Biafra Independence of May 30th, 1967, with all the implications thereof. In reaffirming the independence of Biafra, The peoples and nations of Biafra make neither war nor peace with the state of peoples of Nigeria. Rather, we exercise a natural right, a popular right, a political right, and a right supported by the United Nations Organization Charter and international laws, the right of self-determination. In the certain realization that only the effective exercise of self-determination by the peoples and nation of Biafra will end the state of occupation and subjugation by Nigeria or Biafra. In furtherance of this exercise, the Biafra Charter, a formal organ of the people and nation of Biafra, lends authority to and issues a mandate for the creation and formation of a Biafra Provisional Government, BPG. Biafra Provisional Government, BPG. Mandate of BPG to create, form, operate, and manage a provisional government for and by the peoples and nation of Biafra. Such government to function in the meantime as a bona fide government of Biafra in the manner of legal, customary, and decent governments. To secure the freedom and liberty of Biafra and its peoples from occupation by Nigeria, based on self-determination paradigm and paradigm principles, with all haste and by all means necessary, to represent the sovereignty and interest of Biafra and its people in the region and in the world at large, to project the sovereignty, independence, and humanity of Biafra and its people at all times, to constitute a transitional governance of Biafra (TGB) immediately after liberation of Biafra from Nigeria for a specified and finite duration not to exceed 4 years, pending the formalization of Biafra state structures post-occupation and post-liberation. Structure of BPG. The Biafra Provisional Government shall consist of two arms. A. Biafra Government in Exile, BGIE, based outside Biafra. 2. Biafra Government within Biafra, to be known as Biafra Shadow Government, BSG. Both arms shall function in tight coordination and in harmony with the BGIE in the apex role. Function of BPG. The sole function of BGIE and BSG is to carry out the mandate of the Biafra Provisional Government as stated in the Biafra Charter Authorization. BGIE shall respect existing laws of international hosting countries in furtherance of this mandate. BGIE shall respect international laws dealing with self-determination and protection of human rights and rely in particular on the Geneva Convention's Protocol 2. BSG will work with our peoples at home in Biafra territory and in Nigeria, cognizant of the state of Nigeria's occupational forces foisted over our people, to keep alive and project Biafran sovereignty and independence in accordance with the mandate and to mobilize, organize, and manage our people for socio-political activism in order to carry out our resolve for self-determination. At all times, BGIE and BSG functions are to be well coordinated, harmonious, complementary, and seamless. Following the liberation of Biafra from Nigeria, the Biafra Provisional Government (BPG), consisting of BGIE and BSG, together shall form the nucleus of the transitional government of Biafra, under the direction of the peoples of the nation of Biafra, in order to conduct the governmental affairs of Biafra, guided by the Biafra Charter, for a period not to exceed 4 years, during which Biafra puts formal structures in place to continue and to succeed as a nation under a permanent constitution of the nation of Biafra. Conduct. The conduct of the Biafran Provisional Government shall, at all times, adhere to the basic principles and laws of the Biafra Charter. Term. The term of Biafra Provisional Government (BPG) shall last from now, May 30th, 2007, until Biafra is fully liberated from Nigeria occupation. Immediately after the full liberation of Biafra, the Biafra Provisional Government shall transform into the Transitional Government of Biafra (TGB), during which Biafra socio-political and civic structures shall be put in place, a period not to exceed 4 years. At the conclusion of that period, the Transitional Government of Biafra (TGB) shall unconditionally cease to exist and shall be replaced by a duly constituted government of Biafra following a constitutional conference. The end. We have come to the end of today's presentation of the Biafran Charter. Please do join us again next time for another edition in our series, the Biafran Charter Explained. We solicit your kind support for Biafra Government in Exile and Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, where we guarantee you authentic information on Biafra and our struggle always. I'm Mazio Degu, thanking you for listening.
Zil Sound.
Mr. Pro, I'm doing it.
Moko on the beat.
I can see my people in rivers. I also see my people in Delta, Cross River and Akwa Ibom. Even in Edo State, I can see my people in Enugu. I can see my people in Anambra. I also see my people in a body, Ibo and Aja, Igala and Igama, Biafra, Allah, Biafra, Allah, Biafra, Allah, Biafra, Allah, Biafra, Biafra, in the Monka, Biafra, Obodo Chukuteleman, Biafra, Obodo Chukuteleman. How good a pleasant it could be for good and man to see the unification of all Biafrans. Has it been said already? Let it be done. We are the children of Chukwokike and Biafra. We are one.
This is Rose Ama with BCB News Update. Nigerian women protest Senate's rejection of gender equality bills. On March 2nd, Nigerian women gathered at the National Assembly at Abuja to protest the rejection of the proposed gender equality bills they had submitted for consideration in the proposed constitutional amendment. The three bills rejected deal with citizenship, indigenship, and affirmative action for women. It is indicated that the bills did not secure the mandatory two-thirds votes required to pass on the proposed amendment to the Constitution. Al Jazeera reports, however, that on Women's International Day, Nigerian Parliament rescinded its decision on the three gender equality bills after simultaneous protests in 4 cities by women. Parliament will now reconsider the bills when it reconvenes in a month. Hundreds of international students, including Nigerian students, trapped in Ukraine during the Russian invasion. CNN reports that hundreds of international students are trapped in Ukraine during the Russian invasion. Al Jazeera states that about 400 Nigerian students are currently trapped in the northeastern Ukrainian city of Sumy, the second largest group of foreign students after Indians. Sumy is about 30 miles from the border with Russia. According to the Republic, some of the students have experienced discrimination and have been prevented from exiting Ukraine into Poland, for instance, because the students are blacks and do not hold European passports, as one student told France 24 News. In response, the African Union, AU, says it is quote-unquote disturbed by reports that Africans in Ukraine are being prevented from safely crossing the border to safety as the conflict rages in the country. In a statement late Monday, Al Jazeera has reported the Pan-African body said, quote, all people have the right to cross international borders during conflict and as such should enjoy the same rights to cross to safety from the conflict in Ukraine, notwithstanding their nationality or racial identity, unquote. Many of us have received and seen some of these videos on several social media platforms showing African students pleading with Ukrainian border authorities to be allowed passage into other European nations. In some videos, the students are heard crying and shouting that they are students. Some students lament that they have no food, water, or transportation and have also been prevented from entering the buses provided to transport Ukrainians across the border. In its coverage of these reports, Al Jazeera confirmed speaking to several African and Asian nationals who said they were turned away by Ukrainian authorities at the border to Poland. In fact, these acts of discrimination violate international law and conventions governing the status of refugees. As the AU concludes in its statement, quote, reports that Africans are singled out for unacceptable dissimilar treatment would be shockingly racist and in breach of international law, unquote. In developing news at the time of this recording, News Central TV indicates that evacuation of Nigerian students currently trapped in Ukraine's Sumy State University will begin on Monday, 7th March, according to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyama. Nigerians in the university had protested, calling on the Nigerian government to rescue them as the Russian invasion escalated. A federal high court in Abuja sacks Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi and his deputy Eric Kelechi Igwe. Federal High Court Justice Iyan Ekwo in Abuja has sacked Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi and his deputy Eric Kelechi Igwe for defecting from PDP to APC. Justice Iyan Ekwo's judgment was in response to PDP's court case seeking the removal of Umahi and his deputy from office. In his ruling, the justice indicated that by defecting from PDP, under whose platform Umahi and Igwe were elected, to APC, the governor and his deputy resigned from their offices. Therefore, the justice ruled that PDP could conduct fresh elections to elect replacement candidates who would complete the remaining terms of the governor and his deputy. In response, Umahi indicated that they will appeal the useless judgment, adding, I am still the governor of Ebonyi State. As we have said, Nigeria is broken, and its citizens are caught in a farcical dance of masquerades whose goal is confusion. What is driving Umahi away from PDP, you might ask? It seems he's rethinking his strategies, or perhaps biting the hand that has fed him. One would think that he would pay more attention to the needs of Biafrans, his people, who have suffered under the terrorism of those murderous Fulani herdsmen whom he sheltered even as they slaughtered his people. Has he had enough, or is this the case of the leopard changing its spots? You decide. BCB, of course, will continue to monitor this political farce. This ends our news update. Join us next time. Subscribe and like us on YouTube and Facebook. This is Rosama. Let's get wiser. This is BCB. I am Rosama. The season for Nigerian presidential declarations has begun. We can hear all the declarations and pontifications. The catalog is currently dominated by men who believe they are the best candidates to rule a broken Nigeria. But there are two new interesting shifts. One, the emergence of the first and only female presidential candidate, Khadija Okunu Lamidi. And two, the preoccupation with a president of Igbo extraction. If I were a gambler, I wouldn't bet on either of these two, female or Igbo presidency. Why? because Nigeria doesn't believe that either group has any rights to be recognized. But I could be wrong. Let's wait and see. Still, I wonder what this means for the struggle for Biafran freedom. The struggle for Biafran freedom is important for all those who see themselves as belonging to Biafra, that nation that survived 3+ years of battery between May 1967 and January 1970. If we learn anything from the recent Russian invasion of Ukraine, it is how important one's homeland is, especially when one is about to lose it. Between 1967 and 1970, we were Ukraine. Biafra was Ukraine, being bombarded and shelled every day by Nigeria with the help of Russia. Indeed, history, when seen from afar, has a way of serving as a strong lesson. So, have we learned anything? Therefore, those who are clamoring for a Nigerian president of Igbo ancestry should consider the following questions. How important will the Biafran struggle and Biafran lives be for the next president of Nigeria? Will she or he address the call by Biafrans for the restoration of their rights, of their homeland, of their dignity? How would such a person address this important issue? One might ask why those who fight for the restoration of Biafra persist. The answer is simple, because there comes a time when each individual or a group declares that life is meaningless without freedom, without the exercise of human rights, without dignity, without a safe homeland. What are we if we cannot live as human beings and in peace on our own homeland, on our own soil? Ask Ukrainians how they feel about this right now. The evidence of a successful nation and its leadership is the extent to which all citizens believe that their rights are protected and can exercise those rights freely. What are rights without peace and security? Nigeria does not guarantee any freedom, any peace, and any security for Biafrans. If anything, Nigeria has worked diligently to deny all of these to Biafrans, and particularly Biafrans of Igbo origins. In the past few months, the idea of a Nigerian president of Igbo extraction has surfaced. This seems to have captured the imagination of a few desperate individuals that it has become an obsession or even a new religion. Well, excuse me, but I refuse to join this religion or this rickety train, this absurdity, this masquerade. The idea of a Nigerian president of Igbo extraction in 2023 pretends to be democratic. Unfortunately, it is nothing but a charade, an empty dream, smoke and mirrors, nonsense, drivel, baloney. Shall I add more? I will resist exhausting myself trying to think of new adjectives to describe this. But let's just say that such an idea is delusional. Let us stop deceiving ourselves. Ohaneze Ndigbo and all those Biafrans, especially Igbo politicians, groveling before northern leaders and their sycophants for a pat on the back or to be anointed as the next potential presidential candidate, need to wake up. Wake up from their fantastical slumber. It ain't happening. And if it does, we are not believing you. We're not accepting you. You are nothing but a new warrant chief. Wake up, Biafrans. Just reject such mediocrity. Bear in mind that in the late 1800s, the British colonial administration deployed a strategy of divide and conquer when they arrived in Igbo land. They appointed warrant chiefs and undermined our democratic processes. We have never recovered from that trauma. So this idea of a Nigerian presidency of Igbo extraction seems to be deploying a similar strategy: divide us, confuse us, and then destroy us. Frankly, do we still need our leaders to be anointed by those who want to destroy us? Where is your self-respect? Where is your dignity? My people, do not be deceived. Someone must strike the ekwe or ogene to wake you up. And I'm doing it now. I am striking it hard. Wake up. This illusion has been bandied around so much that some have come to claim that a Nigerian president of Igbo extraction will resolve all the problems. Imagine all the problems that plague this contrivance called Nigeria. Seriously? Will a president of Igbo extraction stop the rest of the Nigerian population from trying to exterminate Igbos? Will a president of Igbo extraction heal the wounds and trauma caused by a protracted war of genocide that has been waged against Igbos, even before the 1966 pogroms in various parts of the country, even before independence? Will a president of Igbo extraction rectify the unacknowledged wounds of the war between 1967 and 1970? Will such an individual apologize to Igbos and all Biafrans for the atrocities committed against them by the Federal Republic of Nigeria during that war and afterwards? Will a president of Igbo extraction make Igbos forget that they are still being treated like pariahs, hunted and killed by Fulani cattle herdsmen and other ethnicities in that failed nation? Will a president of Igbo extraction convince the Nigerian government and its defendants and sycophants that Igbos pose no threats to them? Will a president of Igbo extraction persuade the Nigerian government and the other ethnicities that Nigeria must acknowledge past ills against Igbos and work towards healing? Will such a person create laws or policies that will protect Igbos from harm, or that will simply stop the rest of Nigerians from killing Igbos or denying them their humanity, denying them their human rights, denying them their dignity? Imagine a world where an errant priest does not wake up one day and ban Igbo songs from his parish because it is not Igbo land, or where a justice of the court does not ban the wearing of an Igbo traditional outfit such as Ishiago in the courtroom because the animal's head is threatening. Think of it. Indeed, no other ethnic group has faced or experienced the nature and level of hostilities and atrocities Igbos have faced in this dysfunctional Nigeria. We cannot call Nigeria a nation. We cannot claim to belong to a nation because there is no collective commitment to a common vision or a shared history or language, and even a desire to live together. So what really would a president of Igbo extraction do except to further silence Igbos and Biafrans in general? No. An Igbo president will do nothing other than bind us, gag us, help to perpetuate the state of servitude in which we currently find ourselves, and aid Nigeria in its pledge to destroy our homeland and dominate us. Our ancestors told us in the past. And perhaps they continue to say that to us, but we've not been listening. But we find ourselves saddled with so many chiefs who are simply Gwauls serving a dying Nigeria run by fanatical jihadists who want an empire from the desert to the Atlantic. We find ourselves stuck, lost, disoriented. No, an Igbo president in Nigeria would serve as nothing but a tool in the hands of our destroyers, whose goal is nothing but conquest. Take, for instance, the current state of Imo State, where the Supreme Court imposed Governor Uzodimma has destroyed the state, left communities in chaos and unmanageable, and has done absolutely nothing to improve infrastructure or development in the state, although he claimed he will do better than his predecessor, Rochas Okorocha, who is now a presidential candidate. As you've seen, there is no certainty about the safety of Biafra or Igbo land. Are we even sure that the federal government of Nigeria, the northern oligarchs, and all those other people who have aligned themselves with the federal government of Nigeria will accept an Igbo as president, then trust this person to lead for a full term? Did we forget what happened to Jonathan? And he isn't even Igbo. So this very lucky Igbo person who comes in as president of Nigeria in a few years shall inherit and be responsible for cleaning up the mess that generations of irresponsible, thieving, and unethical presidents and politicians have left behind. This so-called blessed or lucky person will resolve the anger directed by other ethnicities at Igbos and Biafrans in general. This very lucky person will grant peace and security to Biafra and stop the appropriation of Biafran natural resources and wealth for the development of other areas but Biafra. This blessed person will be the Messiah to save Nigeria from toppling over, from falling over the edge. Who wants this job? Really ask yourselves, who desperately wants to fix this broken entity called Nigeria? I assume only a scapegoat, or perhaps another rogue waiting for an opportunity to hoard whatever is left of the already missing wealth. Biafrans, it is time to wake up. This is Rosama. Let's get wiser, my people. Join us again in the next program as we explore these issues and questions. This is BCB.
Use of the land. Use of the land of the rising sun. Use of the lands of Biafra. Use of the land of roaring lions. The land of Amalinze the great cat. Use of our land. We must rise to bail water. To bail that water while it's still ankle deep. This is an adage. Your welfare is now on your own hands. Those claiming to lead seems not now able to lead themselves. The corona appeals and calls for all the young men to be on their guard. We are slowly drifting into a great void, into an abyss. We must not make a mistake of folding our hands while things get totally out of hand. Use of our land, use of the land of Biafra. Though the elders have kept mute, though the elders that are supposed to indicate direction and lead have dozed off, do not allow what is coming to undermine your future. Take the bull by the horn, for in this will you reap greatness and a bright future for yourselves, devoid of all calamities, devoid of all hindrances and setbacks. Do not join those wrecking the land, for there is no future in it. There is no road in the jungle. There is no road in the wilderness. Listen to the word of wisdom, for I can see a storm cloud gathering, descending, that will bring on an apocalypse of an unimaginable proportion. Do not join the nefarious gangs, the axe-wielding bunch on the prowl, devouring all our communities. Do not join groups without a well-thought-out directives. It is through this that you can be safe and bring sanity to the land. We must rise to stem the tide. We must rise to overcome what is now on the ground. We must rise to claim our stake, for the future belongs to all of us. Be wise. This is Ikechukwu Ezerora of BCB. Have a wonderful day.
This is the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra. Thank you for listening to us today. Join us next time for news, cultural, and educational programs. This is the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB.
Descendants of David, descendants of parody. Yes, we are one people. We are traceable to the land of Israel. Our ancestral home, second Biafra, 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 Kingdom of God, listen, no more divide and rule. Cause my people are no longer fools. We now know who we are. We are Biafrans. No more Southeast, yo. No more South, yo. No more Nigerian. All we know is Biafra. We are one family. Descendants of David, descendants of parody. We are one people. We are traceable to the land of Israel. Our ancestral home. Biafra, 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 and the rising sun, Biafra, kingdom of God, Biafra, technology, Biafra, with much resources, Biafra, over the true Talaman of Biafra, over the true Talaman of Biafra, all hail Biafra, all hail Biafra, and I'm the rising sun, Biafra, over the true Talaman of, hey, Mr. Pro, Namo de Kano, Radio Biafra.
Hail to Biafra, consecrated nation. O fatherland, this we must only pledge. Defending thee shall be our shall our trumpets peal the glorious song of victory. We score, oh mighty rock. Oh God, protect us from the heathen pitfall. Guide all our movements, lest we go astray. Give us the strength